Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm so excited for tonight to have Belinda Ellsworth with us. And, Belinda and I have been friends probably 30 years, I was thinking. And in fact, you know what? I also want to give a shout out to her son, Aaron, who I'm on Medicaid, you guys. I'm old. And
Medicare.
Medicare, Medicare.
I
And
always get those two mixed up.
I know. So, but anyway, if you or a family member needs help, call Aaron. He was fabulous. I mean, I went from spending some money every month to no spending nothing with better coverage. So I really appreciate his help. Anyway, a little digress there, but Belinda has been a professional speaker and a consultant for more than 25 years, and she's helped thousands make better, best business decisions and create successful systems. And I know that's played a big part for me. Her iconic messages of good, solid business practices will stay with you forever and positively impact your life and your business. She's the international best-selling author of the #1 book in direct selling for dummies, which I happen to have a couple copies of. I have one that she autographed, and I use. I have the autograph one I keep as a treasure. But she also hosts Work from Your Happy Place. So, and Belinda, thank you again. We're looking forward to hearing your update, and I hope that all of you have ordered your planner. But maybe you want to hold off. I hope you all registered to get a copy, for the raffle tonight. So I hope that you did. Of course, you have to be on the call to be eligible. So hopefully you will. And there was something. Oh, and don't forget, of course, I'll be doing my participation award. Everyone who is in this workshop tonight, and then also you'll be entered again if you're in the home office live tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So without further ado, Belinda, take it away and wow us, honey.
All right. Well, I'm super excited to be here with you. Yes, Karen and I have been friends for a very, very long time. And it makes my heart happy when I get to do one of these with somebody that I really enjoy being with. So thank you all. I know this is a busy week. I know I've got my daughter on her way back from the airport right now. So I haven't seen her since August. So I am really super excited about that. So it's that time of the year where we get to see family and we get to, I don't know, make good food and all that good stuff. So thank you for taking the time out of your lives tonight to be here. So we're going to dive right in. I have spent, as Karen gave a really nice introduction there, that was very nice, but I have spent, the last 30 years really creating programs, courses, resources, anything that I can to make your lives a little bit easier, to help you be as successful as you personally want to be. And one of those tools has definitely been my planner. And I have, this is my 7th year of doing it. And this year it got probably one of the biggest makeovers that it's had in the last 6 years. So that's pretty exciting. And I'll be telling you about that tonight. But for the last 4 years, we've had these themes because I think it's important for me to kind of get a really good idea of what's going on in the industry, what's going on with you. And then really, if we could all focus on kind of some of the same things together, we could really make an impact in making change. So when the COVID first happened, when the pandemic happened, I was like, oh my gosh, we need to really put a lot of energy into this planner, and what's our theme going to be? And that year it was focus, because we had to focus, right? We were getting fiery darts thrown at us and we didn't know which way was up or down. And didn't know how we were going to do our businesses. We all had to pivot and learn to do them differently. It was just a crazy time. So the next year I reached out and started asking people, so, hey, what's going on? And a lot of people said, well, I'm just waiting for things to get back to normal. And I realized at that point that people needed to start dreaming again, because this business can take you just about anywhere you want it to take you. But you know what? You have to dream big. You have to look at the possibilities and really get excited about those possibilities. And I know when you've been around for a long time, sometimes that's hard and we can lose sight of that pretty easily. So next year it was dream. Last year I started asking, and it was like, okay. And people were like, I know I need to get back to work, but I'm just kind of having a hard time with it. And I feel like I've lost my sort of excitement. And so last year, our whole topic was passion with purpose. And it really was getting reconnected to your why. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that again tonight, but it's like, why do you do what you do? And it's really important as you sit and you think about your goals and you think about what you want to achieve going into 2024. It's like, and what will that do? What is it something that it will do for you, for your family? What is something that you have on your bucket list for this year? And here's why it's important, because when you set goals, you need to have an emotional attachment to it. Because if you don't have an emotional attachment to your goals, you are likely, the first little hiccup you have or roadblock you run into, you're likely to give up on it. So let's get reconnected with our why. The other thing that I really asked people to do last year, and I really would encourage you to do this again, is to sit down and to really write out and like hang it up so you can see it. Like, what's your purpose to your customer? Like when you think of what you do for your customer, I want you to write it out, because you don't sell kitchen tools. Like if that's how you see yourself and that's how you think about it, you'll think, oh, you'll start to maybe even second guess yourself or who really needs this. But if you sit down and really say, what do I do for families? I help make time in the kitchen easier. I simplify cooking. I help people with tools that can make cooking fun. I help bring families back around the kitchen table. Like, what do you do? I want you to really sit down and write it out, because then it won't feel like selling. You won't think of yourself as selling kitchen tools. You will think of yourself as someone who enhances the cooking experience, as someone who enhances families' lives around the dinner table. So I want you to really get clear about that. This year, as I sat down and I thought about my theme this year, it seemed like there really was honestly only one thing left, and that is make it happen. Guys, COVID is in the rear view mirror. The pandemic is behind us. And it doesn't mean that people aren't still getting it occasionally, but it's not what it was 4 years ago. And we need to get back to work. We need to get back to doing the business the way you were doing the business. Get back to doing it the way you love to do it. And that's what I know is difficult. I was talking with actually one of Karen's friends, and I ran into her at a vendor event, and she said, oh my gosh, Belinda, I'm back to doing in-home cooking shows. And I just did one the other night. It was $2,700 with 7 bookings. And that's what we're seeing right now, is a very unique and special time that people are enjoying in-person events again. They're looking forward to be invited to something socially. Everybody always enjoys cooking shows, like watching them and being there and trying something. So I need you to get reconnected to, if that's what you want to do. If you have found a great way and you enjoy doing your business online, that's great. But what I'm hearing from a lot of people is, I'm doing it and I'm going through the motions, but it's not fun. Social media isn't fun for me to do. I know it's a have to do, but it's not the part I love. So get back to doing the business the way you love to do the business. And that is a very unique journey for each and every single one of you. So that's what we're going to dive in and talk about tonight. The first part of that I want to talk about is being intentional. Like, what does it mean to be intentional? And being intentional is where your actions align with your words. And so if you say, I'd really like to sell $5,000 in a month, it's like, what are you doing in a day to sell $5,000 in a month? What did you do today to get you one step closer to that goal? If you want to get promoted or get re-promoted, how many people have you talked to about the business today? If you want to earn a company incentive trip, what did you do today to get yourself one step closer to that? If you want to lose 20 pounds, what did you do in order to get one step closer to that? We say things a lot like, oh, I really wish I could get this. I really would like to have this. But we need to get our actions aligning with our words. So here's a little something that I'm going to highly recommend. as many of you know, I've taught, or you don't know, but I've taught for 30 plus years, is you should never really have more than 10 items on your list of things to do. Because if you start putting any more than that, you are going to carry them over to the next day, and you're not going to prioritize the ones that are really more important. But as I started looking at my own business and I started looking at my own behaviors, I was making lists and I was keeping it to 10, but they were just things that I had to get done, like going to the post office, checking on an order. They were necessary and they were things that had to happen, but at the same time, my lights just went crazy. So hang on. Woo. There we go. One of them went crazy, blindsiding me. So, but they're necessary things, but they're just things that you're doing, but they're not things that are moving you closer to your goal necessarily. And that's what I found in myself. I was writing all of these sort of chores that I needed to do or things that needed to happen, but they weren't moving my business forward. They were just keeping up. They were just keeping up with my business. And so what I want to encourage you to do, something that I changed, is every day I make my list of things to do because we have to keep up. But I also write down 3 things. What are 3 things that I can do today that will get me one step closer to my goals, to my objectives? And then I think about those through the day. And I'll be really honest, some days are busy, and some days, like 3 o'clock, I do a check-in. And I said, what have you done today to get you one step closer? And if I haven't done any of those 3 yet, I make myself choose one. I want to end each one of my days with saying I did one thing to get myself one step closer to my goals. If you did that every day, you would start to see success. You would start to see new business. You would start to have new connections. So that's a little bit about being intentional. Now, I talk about goals a lot. In fact, if you were to ask me the one thing that I think is my strength or my wheelhouse, I would have to say it's probably goal setting. And so this year I thought, I've talked about it for the last couple of years. I'm not going to talk about goals this year, but here is the honest truth. So every Tuesday night, many of you might know, maybe you tune into it, I train at 9 o'clock and on my business page. It's free and it's Tuesday night with Belinda Ellsworth. So this year I've kind of been shaking it up, doing some different things instead of doing my typical outlines for some of my trainings. So I've been picking words and then looking up in Google and ChatGPT, like the top 10 ways to be more organized, the top 10 ways to be more consistent, top 10 ways to be more committed, to be more diligent, to be more decisive, to be more disciplined. I have picked all kinds of words. And guess what I found in doing that little exercise? Not most of them, but all of them in that top 10, and it was usually in the top 3, was set effective goals. It's in every single thing that we do, guys. And so it is an important cornerstone. It's the heartbeat of everything that you're going to do, is to set effective goals. So let's revisit very quickly the 3 parts to an effective goal. Part 1, we've kind of talked about, and that is the vision piece of it, your why. You really honestly do need an income goal before you can set a sales goal. If you have that income goal, I want you to sit down and say, okay, what would I do with that income? Do we want to go on a really nice vacation this year? Do we want to get a new puppy? No. Do we want to do some fix-ups on our home? Do we want to get a new home? Like, what is it that you really would like to have on that bucket list this year for you and or your family? Then you're going to then you can set that sales goal accordingly, because you need to be emotionally attached to it. If you're emotionally attached to it and you come short of your goal, well, you don't give up on it. You're like, that's okay. I'm this much closer to taking my kids on this awesome vacation. Or we're just this much closer to getting this built-in swimming pool in our backyard. Like, if you are emotionally connected to it, you don't give up on it. But if you say, oh, I need to sell $5,000, and you don't have an emotional connection and you do fall short of it, you're going to be like, yeah, I didn't think I could do that. Or does it really matter? You know, I'm doing the best I can. And you're going to just kind of continue to go on. So part A is your why. Why are you doing it? What do you want out of it? Part B is the actual benchmark itself. And that's all that it is, guys. And every time that we hit one of those, we're moving that benchmark one step forward. You see, goals, this is the really cool thing about goals. As long as you are setting them and going after them, you are going to experience growth. And I think that that's pretty exciting. Even whether you hit it or not, you're going to experience growth. I had a lady a couple of weeks ago, it's been about 3 weeks now on one of these, and she said, you know, I really went after my company's incentive trip this last year. I hadn't earned it, and I really wanted to, and I really went after it and got to the end of the contest, and I missed it. And she said, however, I worked really hard for it. I added 16 members to my team. I promoted, and I doubled my income of what I had been earning. So is that a loss? No, not at all, you guys. And she said, and you know what? I was a little disappointed, but I was so excited by how well my team is. And you know what? This year, I know how to adjust and I won't miss it. I'm not going to miss that incentive trip this year. So that's what I want you to remember. Every time you go after something, we're going to see growth and be excited about that. And it's a benchmark. So let's pretend that benchmark is $5,000. So now let's talk about part C. Part C is what's your plan of action? How are you going to do that? So if you were to say, so let's first break it down. So $5,000 in a month. The first thing that you want to do in that plan of action is break that down to weekly. So what would you need to sell weekly? $1,250. That's what you would need to sell. $1,250 in a week. Now, if you want to solely do your business online and do it through your customer community group, well, then you know what? You'd have to sell $250 a day for 5 days out of that week. So if you want to type it in the chat really, really quick, if you can, what would be your plan of action? Because see, that it's all yours. If you had to sell $1,250 in a single week, you know, what would your plan of action be? How would you do that? What would be your route to that? Should just let everybody talk. Call instead of texting my former customers and host 8 days of Christmas. Okay. 2 parties a week. All right. Okay. 2 parties minimum a week. So, you know, 2 parties a week is a good, easy way to get there. It's 600. I mean, the average party is much higher than 600 right now. And that is what I mentioned earlier. It's like, there's not a better time. I don't know, there's always going to be like this, but party averages right now are higher than they were pre-COVID. So you might as well take advantage of it in full swing. So 2 parties a week, then you can supplement that with, you could do 1 party a week if you could only get out 1 night a week and supplement that with online. You could do customer care calls. You could go live in your customer community. But I can tell you that the quickest and easiest way to $1,250 is those 2 parties, or at least 1 party and doing your business in some other ways. Why? This is the other reason it is so awesome, is because every single time that you do that, you are likely collecting new customers. You are being introduced to new people. And I'll talk about why that's so important toward the end of this when we talk about customers. So that is sort of your plan of action. Is I don't have to give it to you. You get to map it out, but it is a plan that you need to then stick with. So let's talk now about being more proactive in your business than reactive. All right, there are 6 different categories we're going to talk about tonight. And the first one is your schedule. The first one is your schedule. This is an area. There's really two key areas of your business, and it's schedule and systems, but we're going to talk about 6 of them, but those are the first 2. And the first one we're going to talk about is your schedule. So what is the difference between being proactive and being reactive? Proactive means that you have a plan. You are planning ahead. You have a strategy to the way that you are going to do your business or your schedule in this particular case. Being reactive is when you are in the moment. It's when you kind of sometimes flying by the seat of your pants. Sometimes being reactive is somebody calls and they want to place an order and you take the order, and that's being reactive, and sometimes that's great. But being proactive would be, how many orders do you want to get in that week? Who else can I call and make sure that I make that happen versus wait for it to happen? So think of it like that. That's being proactive, is making it happen versus waiting for it to happen. So let's talk about schedule. So this is my new planner. I'm going to talk more about it at the end, but I do want to talk about schedules. Now there's 2 calendars in this planner, and this is the first one. This is called your month at a glance. And this is where we can be really proactive with our scheduling. So the first thing is when you open this up, and you should do this daily because you want to stay on top of it. And you're going to look up, like, let's pretend it's November 1st, and we open up this calendar and we look at November, and then you're going to say, okay, what do I have so far? Where do I want to work, but I have holes in my schedule? What do I need to fill in? Maybe you'll look at it and you say, well, let's pretend it's those 2 parties. So I say, okay, well, I've got 2 parties the first week, so that's good. I've got 1 in the second week. I don't have any in the third week, and I've got 1 in the fourth week. So what do I need to do? I need to work right now in getting 1 for next week. So who could I get next week that would want to do something, turn around quickly, right? Maybe you know of somebody like that that's been sitting on the edge, ready to book. Then I'm going to start putting my feelers out. I'm going to start calling people consistently. And it's interesting because some of those numbers have changed, but one lady I've been talking to several people. If I make 10 calls, I will get 2 bookings. And so she said, it's just a matter. If I make the 10 calls, I will get 2 bookings. So I want you to really sit down and look at that calendar. You should always be working 2 to 3 weeks ahead. This is part of the problem. And if you really want to be proactive, you need to highlight the dates that you really want to work. So if you want to do 2 events a week, then highlight those and pick a particular color. If they're in-home events, then maybe pick blue, highlight it in blue so that you can look down and say, I need 1 more in-home party. Maybe you like doing some vendor events. Maybe you put those in purple. Maybe you do online events and you put those in green. Like whatever, you'll be able to look down at that calendar very quickly and see, what do I need to focus on today? What do I need to get filled? And that's going to help you be more proactive with your schedule. Now, the next area of your business, the calendar, is the weeks at a glance. And this is where we've really made a big change in our planner this year. So this is our weeks at a glance. And normally it went Sunday through Saturday, and each row was 1 whole day. And it usually the whole calendar went the whole day. So a lot of people had requests like, Belinda, I wanted to start at 6 a.m. and I wanted to go all the way to 10. Belinda, I want more room to write things to do and follow up. Belinda, I really want to have my connections in there. I used to write people and say, you know what? If you could show me how to do it, we'll give it a whirl. Nobody did, no matter how many times I said. So I spent 4 months reconfiguring this schedule, and here's what we have. So let's just take a look here at this one. It's easier to hold on to. So now a whole day is 2 columns. It starts at 6 a.m. over here and goes to 1:30, starts at 2 p.m. and goes all the way to 10. This really allows you to do more time blocking and time batching. And what that means is, I'm saying how to be more proactive is, you know what? Every day at 3 p.m., this is what I do. Every day at 5 p.m., this is what I do. And I'm going to block that off. Then as you go down the page, the pink is things to do, and the yellow is the follow-up of those things to do. The blue is your 3 connect calls, or the 3 main things, people you want to reach out to, things that are going to get you one step closer to your goal. And then, of course, we still have the healthy habits and what's for dinner each day. So that goes Monday through Thursday. So Monday, Tuesday is on one page. Wednesday, Thursday is on the second. So you get to see the week at a glance very easily. And then the next page then is the weekend at a glance. So over here, you've got Friday, Saturday. Over here, you've got Sunday by itself. And then up here, you've got a habit tracker. So you can put your own habits in there that you want to track. You've got what did you not complete that week that you really wanted to? What do you have coming up in the next week? And then the last piece is what's on the horizon? What do I kind of want to be looking at in the next couple of weeks? The other thing that I would encourage you to do with your schedule is, when it gets mid-month, start turning that page to the next month so that you can say, okay, I want to get these first 2 weeks kind of going. I want to get them filled in. That's going to help you when you turn that page. You're already going to have a sprinkling of events scheduled so that you're not like trying to play catch up. One of the things that we know, and I know from working with so many direct sales companies, that the first week of the month is always the lowest. And so if we can be proactive in making sure we have things scheduled in that first week, then you are going to have a great month. So that is schedules. The next one is systems. So how can we be more proactive with systems? Well, there's all kinds of different systems, and let's just talk about a couple. And the first one I want to talk about is recruiting or sponsoring. So what's a system that you could have around that? Well, first and foremost, I would say, are you ready? If somebody sees a post that you've made or, comments or sees you maybe at a vendor event, and maybe you've made a really cool post about how much you love your business or who you ran into or what you did. Sometimes it's even just having lunch with some of your colleagues and people are like, oh my gosh, that looks like so much fun. So they reach out. Hey, I'd like to know a little bit more about this, or could I get some information from you? My question to you is, how ready are you? What system do you have in place? Do you have all the information you need in on a desktop in a folder so that I could literally send in like a minute? Or do you got to scramble? Do you got to go find it? Things like the kit and what it costs to join, things like how much money that they could actually earn. Maybe you've got a little video there that you like to share. Maybe it's a company video. Maybe it's a video with you talking about why you do what you do. But you also can have a nice intro letter that kind of, says, thank you for your interest. I like to call it an interest letter. Thank you for your interest. This business is great and can be anything you want it to be. As for me, I have been doing it X and I love it because. And then the third paragraph is like, I will be reaching out to you in the next couple of days to answer any questions you have. In the meantime, you can, if you have a video in there, you can watch this video. And if you have any questions at all, do not hesitate to reach out to me. Make sure you put your phone in there. Make sure that you've got your email in there. Obviously you're emailing it to them, but or sending that to them. You might be sending it by messenger, but put your email in there so that they are able to get back to you. So that's one system. Another system is customer care or customer follow-up. What kind of system do you have in place to make sure that you will easily do it? Systems, guys, are things that make your business easier. So it's almost automatic and you don't even have to really think about it. So what's your system for customer follow-up? Do you use, what a system I've trained forever is the 2 + 2 + 2, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. Do you have something like that as your checklist or balance? Or do you have something else you like to do? I'm going back to this 2 + 2 + 2 because it's so amazing. And we're doing so much that we're not even connected with our customers. We're not actually talking to them or, having conversations with them. So I really want to encourage you in that. Another system is like, where do you keep your leads? Are they in a notebook? Are they in the back of the planner? Are they in a digital application that you like to use? Somebody said they really like using boards. Other people use Trello. Other people use Evernote. Like, what do you use that helps you keep track of your leads? What system do you have in place for that? Do you have a system in place for bookings? I could share one with you that I used for years and years that kept my calendar filled all of the time. And that was, if you want to maintain a 2-a-week schedule, and I always wanted to maintain a 3 back in the day. So I always made sure that my night equaled 3. And I had 24 hours to make it happen. That was the game I played with myself. So if I went, I wanted 3 bookings. Now I wanted a 3-a-week schedule. If you want a 2-a-week schedule, guess what? You want your night to equal 2. So I would go, and for the one thing that it made me do, because I didn't want to get on the phone the next day, is I actually worked harder at like asking people and doing a full service checkout and asking them if they wanted to book and having great conversations. And then if I didn't get the total number the very next day, I would get on the phone, and that's what I would go back to my lead list, and I would work on getting that 1 or that 2 until I made my night equal 3. And guess what? My calendar was always full. And it never felt like, oh my gosh, I got to sit down. I have 0 on my calendar and I got to get 6 new bookings on my calendar, because that's never any fun. So, like, what kind of system do you have in place that keeps you on your toes? There's lots of other kinds of systems. Those are some of the big ones, but another big one, and we're going to transition into the next subject of this 6, is social media. What kind of system do you have in place for your social media to make it easier for you to keep up with, to do effectively? So the biggest contributor that will help your life be so much easier is a content calendar. And when I say this to people, because I've been doing these now this whole season, they're like, yeah, that overwhelms me. Like, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of it. It's overwhelming. I don't want to do it. And what I want to say to you is social media can be overwhelming. And for me, the thing that makes it least or less overwhelming is a content calendar. And so I think you just need to like kind of get in your head, like, what is that exactly? First and foremost, it's a blank calendar. You simply go to Google, go to November, click off a blank calendar. I would be going to December now. And then you can sit down or like think about January. What do you want to do in January? Now, here's the good news. You get to pick it. And I'll be really honest with you. And there's been so much research on all this. There is no right or wrong. I think a lot of people get really like afraid, like, I'm not doing this right, or I have to do it like this. And you know what? Just being present. You want to be present, and you can do it however you want to do it. So let's pretend. I would encourage you, as much as you might not want to, I'd love to encourage you to go live at least once a week, even if it's for 10 minutes. And I know the people that have started that thought they could never do it and are just showing really quick little tips in the kitchen or talking about a recipe. People enjoy watching you do different things. Even if it's peeling a garlic, honest to goodness, people just like watching. So if you go live once a week, let's just say that's Tuesdays. So now on my calendar, I'm just going to write down on Tuesday, live, 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 live. Now you can come back later and fill in the blanks on what are you going to talk about. Okay. Now, what else are you going to post? Are you going to do 2 posts a week? You're going to do 3 posts a week in addition to that. Let's pretend it's 3. So now I'm going to go, you know what? Mondays I like to post, and it'll just be a motivation. I'll just post a quote. So just go through and put Monday, quote, 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 quote. You can always come back later and do what? Fill in the quotes. So then maybe you want to do a little tip on Wednesday. Maybe you want to share a fun thing that people are doing. You know, we've done Throwback Thursday. A lot of people are doing Thirsty Thursday, where you sit and just share a different drink recipe. And people are loving that. Like, and it doesn't have to be an alcohol drink. It can be any kind of drink. And you can even do it as a mocktail. But just people like watching different recipes and hearing different things. And oh, that sounds yummy. But what is it? I mean, you might not be any of those because that's not your thing, and that's okay. The important thing about social media more than any other thing, because people have said, oh, is it better if you go at this time of the day? Is it better if you go on a Saturday morning? Is it better if you go Tuesday night? Is it better if you go here? And here's what we know. 80% of people watch it on a replay. 80. It's probably even higher than that, to be honest with you. And the only thing that really matters is consistency. And there's been no rhyme or reason to that one time is better than another. Because when you are consistent, your people will get used to that's when you do it. So then they're going to be like, okay, I know she does the new specials. I know that she talks about, you know, bundles on whatever day. I'm going to tune in for that. So I want to encourage you to fill this out, keep it as simple as you want. And then your system could be, okay, I'm going to make 3 posts a week. So I'm going to sit down twice a month on, maybe it's Sunday night. Sunday night at 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, I'm going to block. You know, on the first Sunday, I'm going to go, okay, I need to make 6 posts for the next 2 weeks. There you go. Then in the middle of the month, you go, I'm going to make 6 posts for the next 2 weeks. And you already know what they are because they're all written down. Now you just get to do them and you schedule them out. When you go live, here's the other thing that I want to encourage you with. And I've really been getting people back to like some basics on this. You don't have to do something different every single time you go live. And I think this has been where I think we've stressed ourselves out over this. If you have a bundle that you're talking about, and the way I like bundles is, here's this item. I'm talking about, this is our featured item this month. Maybe it's on sale, maybe it isn't. Then add to that. Here's this by itself. Here's this with this accessory that works great with it. And here's number 3 is this plus B plus equals C. Everybody following? So then people are like, oh yeah, well, I like that, but I'd really like to get it with that. Or all I can afford is this. I'll stick with A. When we have we can't, when we're online and we're going live, you can't sell everything to everybody. You have to pick and choose. And you don't have to pick something different every time. Because why? Because it takes hearing something now. This is the statistics. 13 times online before people finally go, I think I'm going to buy that. We also know that at any given time, only between 6 and 20% of people are actually seeing your live. So it doesn't matter if you say the same thing 2 weeks in a row, because now they've heard it twice and they're like, you know what? I am getting that bundle. I have heard her talk about it now a couple of times. You could honestly, if it stresses you out, you could pick one set of bundles, like 3 of those, like I said, and make that your whole month and just stick with it. And then people are going to be like, yeah, I like that, because let's face it. I think this is where we've kind of messed up a little bit. The same person isn't going to buy something every week from you. Not likely. So why not stick with the same thing and sell the most of it? And that takes us to our next subject, which is intentional selling. Guys, when you do that, like, so my first company that I ever sold with was Princess House. And for anybody that doesn't know what that is, it was crystal, china, flatware, and I loved crystal. Look at this. I have a Princess House glass sitting right here on my desk. I still have all of them. Now, here's the cool thing. I would pick one item, like, for example, the beverage pitcher was an item I always did in April. And I would say, this is our featured item this month, and you can get it. And here's how great it is and why you would like to have it. And if you already own one, here's why you would like to grab a second one. And I would talk about, you can use it as a pitcher, blah, 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 blah. And then I'd say, okay, B is you can buy the pitcher and get these 4 matching glasses, which is really nice. Now, this makes a lovely wedding gift or anniversary gift, or even a birthday gift. So that takes us to C, which is the pitcher with 8 glasses. So if you have a wedding to go to or a shower, this makes a lovely gift. So then I would just sit down and figure out how many A's do I need to sell? How many B's do I need to sell? How many C's do I need to sell? If I wanted to sell $100 a day, which was my goal, $100 a day for 5 days, that gave me $500 a week. That was $2,000 in outside sales over and above my party sales. That was my goal. That's what I did. And so then I would say, all right, I need to sell 1 C and 1 A today, and I am golden. And man, I would get on there and start talking, start calling people. And the next thing I knew, I'd have like maybe sometimes 4 or 5, because I would do it for the whole 30 minutes I had scheduled. And then I would determine how many of those do I want to sell by the end of the week. And you guys, I did it. Because when you just sit around and go, oh, I hope somebody orders, like we got to be thinking, we got to be talking, we got to be planning. And yes, she says that advice gives me a little room to breathe. People have been stressing themselves out too much on what I got to talk about every single day. And, you know, I've got 10 Black Friday specials and I've been talking about 2 a day, sometimes 3 a day. So guess what? I'm repeating them. But one day I'm talking about 2, the next day I talk about 2 others, the next day I talk about a different one. And I've still got the same people going, oh my gosh, I've talked about this one bundle for 3 days in a row now. And every single day people are like, oh my gosh, that's such a good deal. I need to get that. So then, because I'm thinking in my own head, oh my gosh, it's the 3rd day in a row I've talked about this. It doesn't matter. I just need you to know it doesn't matter. So I hope that gives you some relief. And that's a little bit more about intentional selling. So the 3rd category was social media, if you missed it. So I kind of slid into them. So number 1 was scheduling. Number 2 was systems. Number 3 was social media. Number 4 is proactive selling. Number 5 is proactive customer care. And number 6 is going to be analytics, because I'm going to like fly through these pretty quickly now. So number 5, customer care, 2 + 2 + 2, 2 days. What's the purpose of 2 days? Thank you. So if somebody buys something from you, or you see somebody that's gone online, shoot them a message, not just the thing that comes from the company saying, here's your tracking. Send them a message. Thanks so much for your order. Saw that you ordered today. You know, when I get an order here, we have a thank you that goes out, and then we have another letter that goes out the very next day. Like we have one about just thank you, your order's on its way, here's your tracking number. But then I like to write a personal note. Today, I saw a person in there that I've known for a number of years, and she placed a pretty substantial order today. Guess what? She's going to get a personal phone call. Because why? It's going to make her feel good. And I appreciate her. I'm just calling to say, wow, thanks so much. So day 2 is thank you. What else does this do for you? Oftentimes it shows people that you're really good with your customers. I've had people say, oh, wow, when you called, I just thought, well, if she's going to take care of my friends like that, then I would book a party. Like I would have a show. So it can really help people say, you know, I was thinking about getting something else. I didn't order it. Ask you questions about it. You might get additional sales. 2 weeks is that out of the box call. And 2 weeks is just checking in to see how you're doing. Did you have any questions? Have you gotten a chance to use it yet? You want to talk to people about, you know, what their experience has been. If they haven't used it or they're confused about it, this gives you a chance to answer that. If they have and they love it, this gives you a testimonial to use in future, talking about it in your next live, like, oh my gosh, you know, and one of my customers just told me blah, 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 blah. That's a great testimonial. So, and you only get that from making those calls, and it does boost your confidence. Absolutely. And then the last one is analytics. Guys, be proactive with keeping track of things, like your numbers. Like write down your sales, write down what you did each week. Like in an end of a day, write down what the day's total was. and be excited about that. Another number to be watching is your social growing? Which of your posts are getting attention? And then, you know what? Do more of that. And I know right now we got to go back to it. I think we got away from it, but like the posts that get the most engagements are the ones that you asked questions. And you've got to go back in there and you need to do that. So pay attention to how those are working. And I will say this too, if you're frustrated with engagement, remember this number one rule. If I want more engagement, I need to be more engaged. That's a number one rule. If I want more engagement, but how engaged am I? I am starting to really try to go in now in the evenings and sit down in my notifications. If I see somebody's made a comment, I go onto that page and I do what? Comment back, reply, have a conversation. Then if they really said something, I'm private messaging them now. I never did that as much before, and I'm doing it now. And gosh, people love it. And the whole algorithm sees like, wow, there's a lot of conversation going on this page, because a lot of times they reply, you reply back, and they reply back to you again. That's going to make that algorithm go up and make it say, oh, people like this. I'm going to show this to more people. Another analytic, and this is a big one, and I've added it to the planner this year, is how many new customers did you get this week or this month? How many new customers did you have this month? Now, why is it so important to have a new customer? Because they're golden. They're like awesome. They are just like, you get a brand new customer that's never either seen you before, never ordered from you before, or maybe it's been a really long time since they've ordered anything and they haven't seen a lot of your new things. They have no idea what you've got going on. They're like this. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is awesome. And I'm so excited. And I want this and I want this. And they're watching you do these recipes and they're so excited and they want to have it. And so that customer, then they're great. In the beginning, they'll refer other people. Hey, have you ever seen their air fryer? Oh my gosh. I remember when I stayed with Karen for a couple of nights. She was gracious enough to let me stay at her home for a couple of nights while I was waiting for my daughter to get out of school. And I came home and ordered 3 air fryers. I did because I was watching her cook with it. And so I got one for me and I got one for my 2 older children, which they absolutely love. So, you know, that's that difference, right? Because you're like, okay, I've just seen this. So you want to make sure that you're getting those new customers. Now, your new customer then will move into the middle. And I am going to call this your fat cat. It's like your fat cat is in the middle. And these are people that will order from you on a fairly regular basis, right? Not all the time, but fairly regular. They're people that love what you do. You've built a relationship with them. They like you. And they love to see what the specials are. They want to see what's on sale. Now, that is your main group of people you're selling to all the time, right? Absolutely. But that cat can get skinny. And here's how, because some of those customers are going to become tired customers. They're going to be like, oh man, I've got everything I need for my kitchen. And they are just going to be like, I'll just wait to see when the new things come out. Or I'm just going to wait and see what the Black Friday specials are. They might order only once or twice a year. Those are that's that group of people. And how does the cat stay fat? You feed it new customers. And so if you don't have this flow of new customers coming in, that cat is going to start to get skinny in the middle, and your orders are going to start to what? Become less and less. So I want to encourage you to keep track. So do you want 5 new customers a week? Do you want 20 new customers a month? Do you want, is 10 a more realistic number, depending on how and often and what you're doing these days with your business? But set a goal, set an expectation, and then start to follow it. All right, that's our training. So now I want to tell you a little bit about our planner. So this is our 2024 planner. And a couple of the new things we've done with it this year is we made it an inch shorter all the way around. Now, interesting enough, it makes it feel like it's lighter, even though it has 100 extra pages. And it's because of the distribution of the weight. Now, what's inside of this planner? Some of the things is that we've always had. Some of the things have changed. So we've always had this vision board right up front. Why? Because this is your why. That's what it starts with, right? So this is, somebody said, now it will fit in my purse. It will. This is the standard size of 95% of all planners that are out there in the world. So it has the vision board. Then it moves on the very next page. It has your annual goals over here. And then it has your plan of action. So your sort of big rocks that you're going to plan for the year. Then it moves on and we give you some great ideas for social media, including an example content calendar. And then we move into your work-life balance sheet, which is all of your goals in all areas of your life, not just your business. But something new we added this year, which a lot of people requested, is quarterly planning. So here you've got a way to break your goals down into quarterly, which helps you to stay in tune with them. But then you've got 3 campaigns here for those 3 months. What are you planning out for those months? Like, January, what's in January? February, we've got Valentine's Day. What kind of fun specials or what kinds of things and graphics? Like this helps you really map out your campaigns, like even social, and what do you need to do to support that? Then we go to the month. So now we're going to break it down to monthly. Here's your monthly goals. Again, here are the people you need to connect with in all the different categories. Here are your bundles or your product focuses for the month. Here are your 4 live videos, when the dates are, what you're going to talk about. And here are all of your analytics or your numbers that you can track. So that happens every single month. Then we've got the 2 calendars, as I mentioned, that's the month at a glance. And if you'll notice, there's these 4 little boxes in each box, and that is to track your power hours. So that is to create accountability. Now, one of the things, we have a legend down here where you can create your own power hour and what you want to actually track. These should be income producing activities. But you also see this little icon right here, and that means there is a video associated with that page. In the planner this year, there are 26 videos, 26 trainings. 14 of them are like how to use it, how to get the most out of it. And then each month I do an inspirational, motivational message on things you can be focusing on for that month. And then of course we have the weeks at a glance, which I already explained that. That continues through the whole planner. In the back, you've got the double-sided pocket. You've got a great page of fun stickers. And then something that we enhanced this year is we now have 6 different worksheets that you can download if there's something you want to use. We've got your consultant's first 100 days, something that people have been asking me for the whole 7 years I've been doing this is, can you do a monthly budget? And I did not want to put a budget sheet in this planner because some people do that electronically or however they keep track of it. But this year we added a budget sheet that you can download and you can keep track of if that is something you want to do. So there's 6 of those in there. So that is our planner. And guys, what's really nice, and you doing it this week, is it's normally $54, which for that size of planner, the average price on that one is probably somewhere around 75 at almost 300 pages. It really is. If you go do the research, it's between 65 and 75. So this one normally is 54, but right now, because it's included in our Black Friday specials, it is 20% off of that. So it's just about, I think it's $44 right now is how much that one is. But the best deal because of that 20% off is we also have this bundle. I'm a bundle girl, if you haven't already figured that out. And so this is the Everything You Need to Succeed bundle. We added some cool things this year. And one of those I spent almost all year working on there's 3 things you need to focus on in your business: skill sets, mindset, and positive attitude. So the planner has all your skill sets: organization, goal setting, vision, time management, all those big things, right? But this year we did this art of self-discovery. And this is a complete personal development journal. Now, it's not blank pages. The whole thing every day is things to write in. It has 12 different subjects for personal development, like stress management, self-awareness, relationships, your relationship to money, your physical environment. There's 12 different categories. And what's nice about this is one leader just said to me and my team, we're going to take one of these each month and then have discussions around them. And I thought, that's fantastic. But we added a strengths wheel in here so you can see how you're improving. We've added like your past, present, and future relationship with that topic. We've added a checklist of things that you might want to do in order to get better at that particular subject. And then there's conflict resolution sheets in here. So it's a pretty awesome, robust personal development book. And then, of course, for positive attitude, there is no better way to keep a healthy, positive attitude than using a gratitude journal. People that use gratitude journals are happier. They have a more abundancy mindset. They actually feel healthier and they do better with their relationships. So I want to encourage you in that. So those are the 3 core pieces in there. And then we got some fun extras like these Post-it notes of things to do. Guess how many are on there? 10. We've got new markers this year. There's 12 colors in there. They're felt tipped and they do not bleed through the paper. And we've got these magnetic bookmarks, which are pretty awesome. And and we got 3 extra pages of stickers. But something new we have this year are these 12 affirmation cards. And they're really pretty and they all have positive quotes on them. And you get this little card holder so that you can put those in your office or wherever you would like to put those. And you can change them out. You get 12 of them. So that is the planner bundle. It's called Everything You Need to Succeed. It's $185 value. It's normally $129. And because of the discount, it makes it $109. $109 to get all those pieces. There's 9 of them in there. And you get free shipping on the bundle. So I would really like to encourage you in that. So that's what we have.
It's a wonderful tool. I know many of you use it, and actually I usually have mine ordered in October, and I'm like, why? I haven't even ordered mine yet. So now I guess I'm going to be taking advantage of your sale, Belinda.
Oh, good.
Well, thank you. Any questions? I know we've got our a workshop coming up here 8/2. And I think you do too, don't you, Belinda?
Oh, they rescheduled, I guess, because of this week. But yes, but I'll still let you guys get going here. But is there any questions? Nope. So our winner tonight, and I know that she's here and it sounds like she's not feeling too good. So this will maybe be a nice little boost for her, is Dawn Ferreira. So
yay.
Dawn is our winner tonight.
That should perk her up.
It should. So that is fantastic. Dawn, you will get a code tomorrow and then you will be able to go on the site and put that in. And then you will get to order that and anything else that you want. The planner will come up free for you.
Thank you so much, Belinda. Thank you for your time and thank you for your generosity with giving us a planner. We appreciate it.
Oh, you are welcome. Thank you.
Everybody else go order one. I don't usually advocate you spend your money, but that is one place I do advocate you spend your money.
All right. Thanks, everyone, and have a very happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Thank you. Okay, everyone, it's time for us to get in on the live, and don't forget, you'll be seeing a post to comment on in Joe Pack so that you can get in the participation board again. So, congratulations, Dawn, and thank you all. I hope you enjoyed the workshop tonight.
Thank you.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.